Barcelona won the El Clasico in a spectacular fashion by defeating Real Madrid with 5-1. This proved to be the final straw in Lopetegui's managerial career with Los Blancos, as the humiliation at Camp Nou resulted in Lopetegui being sacked just a day after this match. Real Madrid did put up a good fight early in the second half, thanks to Lopetegui's tactical changes, which doesn't reflect in the scoreline too much. That's because Valverde made sure to keep exploring the huge flaws in Real Madrid's game plan, including after Lopetegui's tweak in tactics, which allowed Barcelona to score 5 goals past Courtois. In this video, we'll take a look at all of that and much more. Even though Valverde was missing his star player, he wanted to target the flaws right from the get-go, so he set his team up accordingly. Messi injured his right arm just a week before this match, so Rafinha came in for him. His role will be explained later in this video. Apart from that, Valverde chose to stick with his usual selection of players. Meanwhile, Lopetegui hadn't nailed down his best 11 yet, so he decided to go with the best players available in their positions. To make sure Real Madrid were as ineffective as possible when in possession, Valverde wanted his team to press with high pressure. Barcelona had to be very careful in their strategy without the ball, as they did not want to give Madrid any opportunity to exploit the huge spaces left by Barcelona after getting away from the high pressure. And Valverde's approach to this was interesting, to say the least. Rafinha was tasked, along with Sergi Roberto, to take care of Marcelo and any Madrid forward on the right side. So when Roberto was up to mark Marcelo, Rafinha would come back and become the right back temporarily. But when the ball was on the other side, Rafinha would come inside and mark the far midfielder, so that Busquets and Rakitic can mark the ball near midfielders, while Coutinho was marking the fullback, not allowing him any space to pick out a player in an advanced position. Valverde tasked Suarez to stay by the far centre-back to not allow a switch of play, keeping Madrid on one side. This allowed Arthur the freedom to go up and press the centre-back, forcing him to make a decision without any good options in sight. Arthur wasn't staying too tight with the centre-back for a reason. Since Busquets couldn't go all the way up when a midfielder dropped deep, Arthur had to make sure to cut out the passing lane to the half space and then press the centre-back once he got involved. This gave Real Madrid only two options: either go back to the goalkeeper, who would be forced long by Suarez, or have the centre-back go long if Madrid did not want to go back to their keeper. Even when Madrid got the ball right after Barcelona's attack and looked to counter-attack, Barcelona's gegenpressing made it borderline impossible for them to get out of their own defensive third, so they had to rely on long balls or the goalkeeper to try and get them upfield. All this allowed Barcelona to have majority of the possession, while Madrid were struggling to get out of their own defensive third. Although Barcelona were missing Messi, they were still more impressive with the ball. Let's take a quick look at what Lopetegui had in mind when his team didn't have the ball, before we get into how Valverde's tactics tore Real Madrid apart. Lopetegui wanted to limit Busquets' involvement, so he had Benzema stay in front of the midfielder. And to stop Suarez from linking up by dropping deep, Casemiro stayed in the middle, just in front of the defense. This meant that Modric or Kroos went up to press in the half spaces on their respective sides, while cutting the passing lane to the nearby midfielder they were marking. If Modric or Kroos did not have a player to mark, they would focus on cutting the passing lane into the half space behind them. This allowed the wingers to stay relatively wide and go towards the advanced fullback when he received the ball. But if Modric or Kroos had a nearby midfielder to take care of, then the winger would come inside and take care of the half space. The wingers were mostly staying narrow to limit the space Barcelona's midfielders had, while cutting the passing lane to the fullbacks if they were advanced. That's all you need to know about Madrid at this point. Having said that, let's get into how Barcelona outclassed Real Madrid when in possession. First of all, to get around Benzema's marking, Busquets started to go wide, dragging Benzema along with him. But that left space in the middle for another midfielder to drop into and keep the ball moving. Benzema's marking wasn't too much of an issue for Barcelona anyway, as Busquets was able to find space behind him since he wasn't staying too tight. Valverde wanted his team to target the left side of the field more often than not. I'm sure most of you already know that's because of Alba being advanced on the left wing. But another reason for targeting that side is because Valverde was aware that Bale wouldn't be tracking back too much since he's one of the few players capable of exploiting the huge spaces left by Barcelona. Therefore, Valverde had Coutinho stay in the half space. And since Bale was staying narrow to eliminate the space Coutinho had in the half space, Alba found himself wide open by the sideline. In order to limit Alba's involvement, Nacho had to step up and press the fullback. But that resulted in leaving Coutinho open with no one to track his run in behind the defense. Because of that instance, Nacho started to stay inside with Coutinho, but that left Alba open out wide with no one to intercept the long pass towards the left wing. When Valverde had his midfielders overload on one side of the field, Madrid's wingers coming narrow left gaps for the Barcelona players staying just behind the Madrid midfielders. On the other side, Rafinha looked to exploit the gap between Isco, who was busy with cutting the passing lane to the fullback, and Cruz, who went up to press frequently. Not just that, but he kept cutting inside from the right to overload the left side even more, which made the matters worse for Real Madrid, as the wingers continued to come narrow while making sure to cut out the passing lane to the fullback behind them. As a result of all this, Barcelona had a really easy time moving the ball around in Madrid's half. In the rare cases where they didn't seem to have many options to move the ball around, Alba gave Barcelona an easy way to get the team upfield. So it's no wonder why it was so easy for Barcelona to get into the final third, which led to this. Bale comes inside to cut out the passing lane to Alba, while Nacho has to take care of the run on the wing. It took Barcelona only 10 minutes to make this happen. By the way, if you liked the video, do me a favor and spread it around. It really helps a lot. After conceding the goal, Bale was tasked to stay a lot tighter with Alba than before. But that cleared space for Coutinho in half space. While the midfielders weren't pressing high anymore, instead, they focused on staying nearby while cutting the passing lanes. And only pressed high when Barcelona tried to switch the play from one side to the other using their center backs. But Barcelona were able to get around that without too much difficulty. At times when they got pushed all the way back, Real Madrid held high positions and did not press Ter Stegen, which is kind of counterproductive if you ask me, because Ter Stegen's ball-playing abilities are among the best you can find in goalkeepers. Now that Alba was having a player staying with him, Barcelona had the midfielders use the wings to get upfield. And because of Coutinho finding lots of space in the half spaces, Casemiro came over to limit his involvement, but that left Suarez open to drop deep and link with his teammates. Real Madrid kept trying to get upfield after Barcelona's attack and were successful a couple of times, but were severely limited when they did get up, which eventually forced them to give the ball away. Meanwhile, Barcelona continued to look for any opening to get them in the final third. Around the 20th minute, Madrid had a midfielder drop deep while the ball near fullback went up on the wing. This helped their build-up play immensely, as they were now much more comfortable when in possession. Having their midfielders drop deep was dragging Barcelona's midfielders inside, leaving the advanced fullback open out wide. But they were still not convincing in the final third. Around the 27th minute, Varane fouled Suarez inside the box, which had to be reviewed by the VAR, resulting in a penalty to Barcelona. Suarez stepped up to take the penalty, looking to add to Barcelona's 1-goal lead. Real Madrid kept using the wings, mostly the right, to get upfield. And were now compressing the ball near side quite a lot to try and win the possession. While Barcelona continued to exploit the left wing to get upfield whenever Alba did not have a player on him. The first half ended with Barcelona leading with 2 goals. Lopetegui decided to tweak his tactics a bit and also brought on Vázquez for Varane. This meant that Nacho became a center back while Vázquez became the right back. Lopetegui decided to go this route since Nacho was having success down on the wings and also to take care of Alba's wide run on the wing. Lopetegui shifted the balance into Real Madrid's favor, at least for a while, due to his tactical changes. He wanted both of his fullbacks to be advanced on their respective wings, giving Madrid an outlet out wide. This was made possible by having Casemiro and Kroos drop in between the 2 center backs when Madrid had the ball. Casemiro stayed between the 2 center backs even when Madrid did not have the ball, giving them an extra man in defense. This allowed Vázquez to stay up with the most advanced player near the left wing, which made it possible to take care of Alba and his runs out wide. Madrid were not pressing high, even the goalkeeper, unlike in the first half. All this allowed Madrid to be in control as soon as the second half started. These changes allowed Madrid to bypass Barcelona's pressure and get upfield with just a few passes. And were attacking a lot more because of this, looking for their first goal. It took Real Madrid less than 4 minutes into the second half to score their first goal of the game. That goal shifted the momentum on their side as they were now looking for the equalizer. Madrid showed no signs of stopping after scoring their first goal. And kept on attacking, looking to score their second goal of the game. Madrid could have scored their second if they were a bit more fortunate. Casemiro and Kroos in the middle continued to allow Madrid to get into the final third. They also had a penalty shout around the 56th minute, which could have been given. Madrid kept pressing with high pressure and attacked right after winning the ball. It wasn't until the hour mark that Barcelona finally woke up and sent Sergi Roberto high up on the right wing. Alba started to make runs inside as Vázquez was staying tight with him, creating space for Coutinho out wide. While Real Madrid kept looking for the equalizer, and could have very well got one if Benzema's header was on target. Real Madrid continued to hold very high positions, even during Barcelona's goal kick, which Ter Stegen exploited to get his team upfield. In the 69th minute, Semedo came on for Rafinha, allowing Sergi Roberto more freedom to attack down the right side. This was done because Marcelo's advanced position was leaving lots of space on the right wing for Barcelona to exploit. In the 74th minute, Coutinho was replaced by Dembele. This allowed Barcelona to have a player track back on the left wing while also giving them the ability to get upfield very quickly due to his pace. Not even a minute had passed after the substitution when Barcelona are able to get through Madrid's high pressure after Cruz steps up, leaving a huge space for Dembele behind him. That play eventually results in Barcelona extending their 2-goal lead, taking the game away from Real Madrid. Madrid kept using Marcelo to get into the final third, trying to get a goal back. But Barcelona's changes made it difficult for Madrid to keep using the long passes to get into the final third. And after Madrid had their players high up to not allow Barcelona to play from the back, Barcelona go the direct route, which ends up working for them after Ramos slips. Lopetegui brought on Mariano Diaz for Marcelo, while Valverde brought on Vidal for Arthur not too long after. As soon as Vidal came on, he started to make runs into the box when he spotted a significant gap in between the defenders. And just a couple minutes after Vidal came on, Valverde's 2 most recent substitutions combined to score Barcelona's 5th goal of the game. Barcelona showed no signs of stopping and could have very well scored their 6th goal of the game. While Madrid could only manage to create this chance, which came in the injury time. Barcelona went on to win against their arch rivals with a scoreline of 5-1. Valverde's tactics absolutely destroyed Real Madrid, while Lopetegui could only stand in his technical area and witness the demolition. To be fair to him, he did allow his team a way back into the game in the second half. And if Real Madrid were a bit more fortunate, the scoreline could have been much different. Nevertheless, props to Valverde for outclassing a team like Real Madrid not once but twice in the same game, which proved to be Lopetegui's final game with Los Blancos. What are your thoughts about this match? Also, what do you think about Isco's penalty shout? I'm sure you have a lot to say about this match, and I'd love to hear what you think, so let me know down in the comments below. If you like what I do and would consider supporting the channel, check out my Patreon page through the link in description or the card on top right. I really appreciate the support. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All links can be found in description. Thank you to Field Jenny J, Benjot Singh, Yitzhak Goretsky, Gary Bartlett, Alberto, Anthony, Tej Mullen, Hamilton Howard Nodine, Lucky Sengoku-san, and more for supporting this channel on Patreon.